Laws aimed at boosting the birth rate in Iran could reduce women to baby-making machines. The rights group Amnesty International says that the laws would set women's rights back by decades. One proposal outlaws voluntary sterilisation, another makes it harder for women without babies to get jobs. The proposals would also make it more difficult to get a divorce. Well, with me now is BBC Persian's Rana Rahimpour. Rana, what's behind these laws?
It's got a very long history. When the Iranian Revolution happened in '79, they decided that the religious leaders of the country decided that they needed more people. And Iran got into a very long war, and they decided that in order to compensate for those who were getting killed in the war, they needed a bigger population. So then they supported the people to have more children. Then we entered at the end of the 80s, we entered the baby boomer generation, which is where I come from. And for 20 years, Iran then tried to stop that because suddenly the birth rate went up to 4% every year. So we had 2 million new babies every year. And so Iran decided that they have to stop that, and they have been very successful. So when I was growing up, there were mottos everywhere, billboards that saying that you're happier with fewer babies, 2 is enough. And since 4 or 5 years ago, they have made a U-turn. They decided that now we have too many young people who will get old in a few decades, and we don't have enough children who will support us when we get old in Iran.
And now they're taking this step, a whole range of new draft laws. How is it being perceived in Iran?
Well, there are some criticisms, of course. They are trying to put a ban on all surgeries for permanent contraception. They are putting harsh punishment for doctors who conduct these surgeries. They're trying to instruct private and public entities to only employ women who have children. But it doesn't mean that people are going to follow these things that are only dictated on them by the regime.
And what happens if they don't?
Not much, to be honest, because there are so many other factors that are important. They have to think whether they can provide for the child they're coming into this world. Modern Iranian women are very educated. They have jobs now. They can't give up their lives and have 5 or 6 children as the supreme leader would like them to. So it's a decision that is very personal. Of course, if this proposed legislation comes into effect and then people have to follow it, it will be more difficult to find contraceptions, to get an abortion, and it will have very serious consequences for women from villages because they wouldn't have access to these things. But I think yet modern women, they will find ways to not to get pregnant if they don't want to.
Rana, thanks very much, Rana Rahimpour there from BBC Persian.